Welcome to F-Bomb History.
Every evening when the sun goes down, get with my party and I begin to clown. I don't care what the people are thinking. I'm not drunk, I'm just a drinker. I set 'em up, another round. I set 'em up, another round. I set 'em up, another round. One more round won't get me down.
Previously on F-Bomb History.
Okay, so we're going to fast forward a year, right? And we're still in the Civil War. All right, we're going to talk about the June 11th and 12th, 1864, which is the Battle of Trevilian Station. General Sheridan and Custer, and we're still talking about Custer, but Sheridan was like Oliver in charge. He was overall in charge of the whole thing. General Grant was starting his overland campaign. At the beginning of his overland campaign, he gave Sheridan, who was on his flank, the mission of taking out the Virginia Central Railroad.
Right, and in the Confederate world, Stuart's dead now.
Stuart got killed at Yellow Tavern.
Yeah.
God rest his soul, greatest horseman ever.
Fabulous.
Anyway, so Stuart's dead now. Now you have Wade Hampton.
Yes.
Wade Hampton, he's kind of like imagine Stuart, but like really big and Irish.
Yeah, not as fabulous.
Not as like super fabulous and flamboyant.
No feather.
Dude was straight up nothing but wanting to fight.
Yeah. It's
all about to fight.
Neanderthal.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Kill it. All right, so.
Also with Hampton was Fitzhugh Lee, which is related to Robert E. Lee.
It was one of his cousins? No, it is a relation. It is related, Fitzhugh Lee. Nephew.
Thank you. Our director said it's
Our
the
director
nephew.
was corrected, both of us.
All them Lees look alike.
Anyway, Wade Hampton's got Fitzhugh Lee with him. Fitzhugh Lee is the nephew of Robert Edward Lee, the overall commander. Of course, everybody knows who Robert E. Lee is. Fitzhugh Lee is, again, one of the greater cavalry commanders the Confederacy produced at the time. One of many, all right? And they were tasked with stop Sheridan.
Yes.
Stop him at any cost.
Now there's a little known thing that happened in history right around this time period. Lee had set up this amazing trap that he was going to sucker Grant across the Anna River, the North Anna.
North Anna River.
Now, he had this thing in place where Grant was going to do a river crossing. It was going to be a peaceful river crossing, and we got on the other side, he was going to be slaughtered. Everything was in place. This literally would have ended the war right around then. Grant would have been captured. If Grant had been captured, the Appomattox would never happen a year later. But something happened, and what happened was Lee got dysentery, and he went down. He was actually out for passed out. It was that bad.
It was really bad.
And because of that, most of what he knew was in his head, and his men didn't know it. His junior commanders, and he had lost Jackson, and he had lost people that could instinctively know what Lee was thinking about. But because of that, the trap never happened. So this was a part of that trap.
It was a part of the trap. So they're tasked with save Virginia Central. Save the Virginia Central Railroad. Railroads are important. Why? Allows for interior lines of communication, allows for rapid resupply, logistics, whole 9 yards. Getting there with your stuff. Everybody understands how that works. Well, most people do.
Yes.
Amateurs study tactics, professionals study logistics. All right. So Haley, why don't you go ahead and tell us what the weather was like at Trevilian Station that day?
Thanks, guys. The weather leading up to Trevilian Station was hot and dry. On the second day of Sheridan's raid, just 4 days shy of the battle, it was reported that 250 horses gave out due to heat and strain.
Now Hampton decides to, basically keep the Yankees at bay. He's trying to do a diversion or keep them away from Lee so they can't swing in on flanks.
Yeah, so what happens is that here comes Custer blasting up.
Right.
Custer looks down the hill there, and he goes, hey, whoa, look, Nobody's protecting Trevilian Station.
Now you gotta picture this. There's a map right here. Alright, now picture this. All of the Yankees are up here, and Custer's down here, and he goes, oh look, there's an unguarded railroad station.
Charge.
Charge.
Why?
Because that's what Custer does.
He does.
Yeah, he always charges.
He charges.
Yeah.
He charges. So he charges. He takes some baggage wagons. He takes like 800 freaking baggage wagons. He takes a couple of
shit ton of prisoners.
Like
mainly guys guarding the baggage wagons.
Over 1,000 horses. He captures all this stuff.
Yeah, sure does.
Well, what he didn't notice was the Confederate horse artillery.
Because Yankees are up here, and he's down here, and then in between is the entire Confederate cavalry.
Yeah, so he gets surrounded.
Yeah, not knowing how many your enemy has or how many they can throw at you, this is going to be important later on in Custer's life.
It's a theme.
It's
a theme. So, he goes blasting down. He takes Trevilian Station, takes all this cool stuff, takes all these horses, all these prisoners, everything, and then starts getting the crap shot out of him from 3 sides.
Yeah.
The only reason he's not getting the 4th side is there's a creek there, and a little swampy creek that nobody can get on that side to shoot at him. But on 3 sides, he's getting hammered. It's so bad. He's so concerned about this situation that he rips his colors off the flagstaff, rolls them up, and stuffs them in his coat because he doesn't want them to be taken.
Yeah, he thinks everything's going to go to hell in a handbasket, but he's going to get out with the colors.
But dude's like freaking, oh shit, we're done.
That's right.
This is bad. What happens now is Sheridan, after this horrible, heinous, oh my god fight, Sheridan rallies the rest of the cavalry that are still way up the hill, way behind him, goes charging in amongst them, and tries to freaking basically saves Custer.
Right. And so,
Don't take away, they don't get any of the stores that they captured, none of the baggage wagons, all that stuff's got to get left. A lot of the prisoners get left, right? Huge melee goes on, giant melee happens. The only reason the Confederates don't follow up with a smashing victory is Wade Hampton. Think about this for a minute. Here's the general of the cavalry, the Confederate cavalry, mixing it up so heavy, he takes a saber hit to the head.
Yeah.
He gets smacked in the head with a saber, gets taken out of the fight, so the Confederates kind of mill around and they don't necessarily follow up for the victory.
This is a problem in the Confederate Army, is whenever a key leader goes down, they kind of don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
Like when Lee went down with dysentery, or when Jackson went down after the Chancellorsville.
Yeah.
So basically, because Hampton went down, they didn't do a follow-up.
Now, how Wade Hampton found out that all this was going on? How did he get there first? How did he understand that here comes Sheridan, here comes Custer, here comes all of them?
Yeah.
How does he get there first? And this is the one that's interesting. Because it was an African-American dude that was working as an orderly in the Union Army that crossed the lines and told them what was going on, spying for the other side.
They had somebody on the inside spying for them. They had a mole in the headquarters.
But it's pretty fascinating when you think about how they got the information. Pretty bizarre.
Now, it's all over. Sheridan finds Custer, and mainly he's concerned, did the Confederates get your colors? Because that was a really important thing in the 19th century. Somebody had your flag, man, you were like seriously embarrassed. He asked Custer, do you have your colors? And Custer says, not by a damn sight, and he whips it out. However, on the field behind him is about half of his command dead on the battlefield.
About half.
Yeah, so he's got his colors, but there's a bunch of dead guys.
Now, it was a heinous fight, and you got to understand, it's 1864, right? We're looking, it's towards the end, all right. It's towards the end of the war here. We're fixing to roll into Petersburg. We're fixing to it's going to turn into a World War I style trench warfare combat situation here pretty soon. Sheridan goes on to say when he's writing his memoirs about the war, he goes on to say, that was the battle that took out the Confederate cavalry as a viable fighting force. They annihilated the Confederate cavalry at that point.
And we both sat here and tried to figure, was there any major cavalry actions after that?
Not huge, freaking crazy.
We couldn't think of it.
I mean, Joe Wheeler, fighting Joe Wheeler's down there in Georgia and South Carolina, wheeling and dealing, and
Forrest,
and of course Forrest is up in Tennessee doing his thing.
Yeah.
But as far as big pitch, giant, riding around armies, cavalry fights, that's pretty much it.
Yep.
That pretty much was over then.
Yep.
So here you go, Custer's at the end of the war. Or, you know, he basically, before the war's over, he cuts off any retreat out of Appomattox Courthouse. Custer was the guy that received the first ever surrender flag from the Confederacy, and becomes, he survived the war, becomes somewhat of a lauded hero. Then it gets weird because it's now a peacetime small war army.
Yeah.
And that's a dangerous army to be in.
Yeah, it is.
Super dangerous army to be in is a peacetime small war army.
It's not. I don't give a shit what you did in the war. What have you done for me lately?
Next time on F-Bomb History.
Yeah. Oh, you made me spill.
She's my daughter.
Came home last night, all full of lush. My babe began to fuss, and I said, honey, hush. I don't care what the people are thinking. I'm not drunk, I'm just drinking. I set 'em up, another round. I set 'em up, another round. I set 'em up, another round. One